Hi everyone, this is Lada from astrolada.com, and these are your September 2016 horoscopes. And what a month is coming for us. So many astrological events. It will be a really interesting prognosis and forecast because the energy is shifting in wonderful and in very different ways, and for some of them it will be a bit more difficult, for some of you it will be a bit easier. But we have two eclipses in Pisces and in Virgo. I'm going to speak in particular about them, how they're going to impact Pisces and Virgo. But we also are having Jupiter passing into Libra. So the whole energy of where our luck is coming from, where our biggest opportunities are coming from, is going to shift from September onwards, and will stay like that for the next 12 months. So actually I'm going to give you an insight into how the next 12 months, almost a year, will be, and where you can expect opportunities and growth in your life. And for those of you actually who want to know in depth how Jupiter in Libra will impact you specifically, you can order my 3-hour course that I did, which is about Jupiter in Libra. It teaches you step by step how to see how Jupiter will impact any kind of everything in your horoscope and what it means for you. It's a really insightful webinar. I'm putting a link for it here, and you'll learn how to see and understand Jupiter like a professional astrologer, even without any astrology knowledge. Also, Mercury is going retrograde, will be retrograde most of September. This is a big thing now, and in Virgo, and it's going to start moving direct towards the end of the month, in the last week of the month. And speaking about Mercury retrograde, I want to tell you that on the 1st of September, when Mercury has turned retrograde, I'm going to be doing a webinar just for $20 on retrograde planets in the birth horoscope, what they mean. These people have special mission that have retrograde planets. They are here with much more different, with kind of slightly different experience of the energies of planets than other people, with more specific and different outlook on life and mission in life. So those of you who want to find out about your retrograde planets and what they mean in your life and how they're going to manifest, you can, there is a link here to subscribe to my webinar, which will be on the 1st of September, Thursday. And I hope you enjoyed those predictions. They are full of amazing information. Hey Virgo, what a month for you. It's going to be a huge time for Virgos. Actually, they're going to start feeling it already from August. Some of you maybe started feeling the eclipse time, because eclipses start acting up to a couple of months before the actual time of the eclipse. You either get foreboding, foresensing, or an event even starts happening up to a couple of months before the eclipse. And there are two eclipses that directly affect you, Virgo. They're happening in September. The first one is on the 1st of September, so many of you will feel it already in August. And it's happening in your own sign. Wow, that's a huge thing. You know, this is when eclipses happen, they're caused by the karmic nodes of the moon. This is the evolutionary points of karma. So fated events tend to happen, and they can turn your life around. And I know I've been repeating myself every month for Virgo videos for the last 2-3 months, because Virgos have been barraged by influences in the last few months, by the grand crosses, by Jupiter, by planets, by Saturn aspecting, by Mars aspecting, by Neptune aspecting, grand crosses, planets in Virgo, now eclipses. And you've been having eclipses for a year, almost a year and a half, happening in Virgo all the time. My God, it's been a roller coaster for you guys. Many of you had life change, whether it's your ascendant, sun or moon in Virgo, doesn't matter. And this month, quite a few of you Virgos again will have life transformational events, particularly whether it's your ascendant, sun or moon in Virgo. It will depend how they manifest. But usually with the sun, it's a big transformation in regards to male figures in your life, in regards to fathers, in regards to husbands, in regards to bosses or authority figures. There might be change. You know, watch out for the health of those people, or relationships with them as well. And also your career. The sun symbolizes career. Those of you who have their moon in Virgo, they will experience it with women in their life. important women, mother, females, or with female health, if they're women themselves, with their emotions, intense experience, changes, big changes in their home, big changes in their home environments. Like sometimes I see when there is an eclipse on someone's moon, motherhood issues come up, like they can get pregnant, or they can, you know, their family can be going through a relocation or move, but something which is fated, which is a bit out of your control. If it's your ascendant that the eclipse is happening, if your ascendant is in Virgo, there is a big overall redirection in your life. You know, I've seen people, quite a few Virgo ascendant people, that the eclipses happen exactly on their degree, on the ascendant degree, and they had a new beginnings in their life. This particular eclipse that is happening in Virgo around the 9th, 8th degree of Virgo. So anyone who is born basically the beginning of September, who is born, especially if you happen to be born on the 31st of August, 1st of September, 2nd of September, the days around the eclipse, my God, this is the next 12 months life-changing for you. The next 12 months are new beginnings in your life, totally new. You can find yourself within a year in a totally new environment and new beginnings, you know, and they can be very positive. But usually when the eclipse is happening for at least a couple of weeks before and after, we're very apprehensive because we feel like something unknown is coming. The eclipse is like hiding up the light and we don't have clarity, and we feel on an instinctive level something big is going to change. I'm not sure how, I'm so fearful, you know. Eclipse also increases the darkness, because eclipse increases the darkness of the spiritual darkness, so a person becomes more fearful, more apprehensive, more worried in a sense, kind of a bit lost. And call to God. Eclipses are very important to call to your higher self, to call to God, to do more meditative practices. But let me give you some positive news about this eclipse. People born around those days, you know, but I would say even a bit earlier and later, when the eclipse is basically even from the 29th of August to around the 3rd, 4th of September, they will feel the eclipse very strongly. Their life will be transformed, especially the eclipse happening on the sun, important male figures, important career direction in life. Sometimes people like get new careers within the next 6 months of the eclipse, or a month and a half or two before the eclipse. Sometimes people like change from one, they get way more authority. They say like when there is an eclipse on your sun, you can become like a king. So becoming from one-man band, hiring much more people to work for them, or starting their own business, or starting a new career. Sometimes the sun represents father. There might be something really important and big change happening in the life of the father. In extreme cases, eclipses represent difficult periods, or even passing away of important people in your life, family members or something like that. I don't want to scare you, but the eclipse has to happen within 1 degree of your sun, moon or ascendant, which means your sun is born around those days that I mentioned. Oops. While the moon indicates, basically, if your moon is from around 7 degrees to around 11 degrees, 12 degrees, then the eclipse will be extremely powerful. So people can relocate then, can change place of living, can big change in their family. For example, someone can get pregnant, someone can move to a different home, someone can have to make big renovations at home, someone can sell their home, someone can, you know, an important woman in their life can be a big, huge turnaround in the life of that person. It's not, you can never say whether it's positive or good generally for everyone. You have to observe the horoscope and see how the eclipse planet is affected. And or you might have Venus in Virgo. You can check from my birth chart calculator. Venus is the planet of love. Eclipse happening on your Venus, if your Venus is from around 8 to around 9 degrees, from 8 to around 11, 12 degrees in Virgo, eclipse happening on your Venus, and you can check out from the planetary detail table from my birth chart calculator. If you happen to have Venus in Virgo at those degrees, then a big shift in your life. If you're single, very karmic, very important relationship can come into your life. People get married within 6 to 12 months of an eclipse on Venus. People get separated or divorced within 6 to 12 months on a Venus, depending on the current state of your relationships, basically. Okay, so this is the eclipse. Not everyone will have those huge things happening, but people born around those days or degrees will definitely feel it, while others will kind of more get like a whiff rather than experience direct events. But also there is another eclipse happening in your 7th house, which is towards the middle of the month, and it's happening at 24 degree Pisces in your 7th house. So if you happen to have your sun, moon, or ascendant from around 20 to around 28 degrees in Virgo, again you're directly affected by the lunar eclipse now, and it's a full lunar eclipse. And again you can feel it up to a month and a half before, and it carries on for up to 6 months after the full lunar eclipse. And so you can find out what degrees your ascendant, sun or moon are Virgo if you go to my birth chart calculator. Enter your details, time and place of birth. It's important for the ascendant to be correct. Go to the planetary detail table and check, do you have anything from around 20 to around 28 degrees, or do you in Virgo, or do you have anything, the solar eclipse that happens at the beginning of the month, which you already might be feeling, anything from I would say 5 to around 14 degrees in Virgo. So 5 till 14, and then the others is 20 till 28. So I'll give 4 degrees within the eclipse. This is the people who can be affected. So it means those who are 24 degrees sun approximately would be probably born in the last, well, I can't calculate now, just check the degrees basically, I can't remember by heart. But what I mean is that this lunar eclipse is about culminating. So the solar eclipse is about some kind of new beginnings. So they can be new beginnings if it happens on your Venus in relationships. They can be new beginnings if it happens on your sun in regards to career or male figures in your life. If it's in your moon, new beginnings in regards to motherhood, in regards to property, place of living, family. If it's on the ascendant, huge new beginnings of any sort in your life. If it happens in your 7th house, which is the lunar eclipse, on those other 20 to 28 degrees, then it's culmination and kind of maybe letting go of something to do with relationships and other people. Culminations that are triggered from outside sources, 7th house, or through relationships, to let go, to release space for something new, or completions of something. Like for example, I see people that, for example, when they had an eclipse on the 7th house, they might can get divorced, or they can get let go of someone, or they can complete some project with someone they've been working in a cooperation with someone, or they can complete some business projects, or some business. Doesn't have to be negative and necessary. In worst case scenario, separation from someone in your life, very important, or big kind of completion, a culmination of your relationship life, like a marriage again. So eclipses again bring those fated big reversal things in your life. So they're directly affecting you and relationships as well. So huge months for most Virgos, And then there is another thing that's affecting Virgo. Mercury is retrograde in your sign, and Mercury rules your Virgos. And Mercury is retrograde for most of September, which means that you are starting to reassess your life, because this is the planet that rules you. It starts moving backwards. So you start integrating all those changes that have been happening in your life for the last year, almost since the nodes and the eclipses started in your signs. So you're starting to integrate all this information, all this knowledge, all those new skills, all those new information that you acquired, and you're kind of going more introverted, more introspective, and actually, you can really work on detail in something in your life. You can really, if you're preparing something, you can really research during that period. You can really prepare yourself mentally for when Mercury starts moving direct, to charge again ahead, to develop a plan B, plan C, what your future is going to be ahead, because it's happening in your 1st house in Virgo. So it's all regarding you and your path in life and where you're heading. And often when there is a retrograde Mercury in your 1st house in your sign, whether it's your ascendant, sun or moon, some very important mercurial matters are happening in your life around that time, and they continue to October, till the end of October, I would say, because Mercury continues to be in Virgo even after it turns direct for another year, for another month after that, or for another 20 days, I would say. So you'd only see the results in mid-October, sorry. But what Mercury is requiring is like working hard on some kind of, because retrograde planets require extra hard work on some mercurial skills, like acquiring new skills, or brushing up on old skills, or something to do like you applying your skills to the best of your ability. Like the universe will require you to mobilize all your skills, whether it's whatever skills it is, Whether it's juggling, whether it's talking, whether it's communicating, whether it's writing, whether it's whatever career you have, Mercury rules all the skills that we have, that we've learned through school, that we learned through practicing, you know. So it's kind of, for example, when I had Mercury retrograde in my first house, this was when I was releasing my first course in astrology. So the whole retrograde period, without me planning, I was even not aware there was Mercury retrograde. I was so busy doing this course that I've been shooting it for 6 months, and when Mercury was retrograde, I was required to use my editing skills, to use my marketing skills, to re-edit, to review, to revisit all the projects that I was doing, to put them in a bunch. Like, really had to muster up all my skills that I've acquired over the years. And this is Mercury, this is very skillful planet, and I was so happy with the results, and I'm sure so many of you will be so happy with such mercurial results, which is planning, organizing, editing, advertising, marketing, communication, speaking, writing, my god, detail analysis, reports, documents. But it's kind of, you are preparing them while Mercury is retrograde, you are editing them, you're working hard, revisiting them. I had one plan to release the course. Mercury retrograde came, and I couldn't release it on the day I wanted because I had extra work that I haven't been aware of before Mercury retrograde came. So it allows you to see more in detail Mercury retrograde, what needs more attention, to correct it and to improve it. And the final project was so much better when I released it, actually, after like a couple of weeks after Mercury turned direct. Was so much better than I had planned and I imagined. So that's why Mercury retrograde periods can be extremely beneficial, even though they might feel a bit frustrating because it takes longer, you have to revise or re-edit, but they give you a different perspective of what needs more attention to detail, what needs planning, better planning, and adjusting the details there, fine-tuning. And the final project is just like retrograde planet requires 3 times more effort or time, the final project is 3 times more rewarding. Okay, so another thing, so don't be scared from Mercury retrograde. Just be careful towards the middle of the month. The retrograde Mercury will be making a square with Mars, which kind of stresses you more, makes you more argumentative. But the Mercury retrograde starts with a beautiful trine to Jupiter, which means that kind of initially it's very positive, things flow easy, and it concludes with a trine to Jupiter towards basically October, and towards some time in October. But in the middle of the process, Mercury makes a square to Mars, and that's kind of can be more stressful. You have to correct something. Mars is about fixing problems. There might be more arguments that have to be resolved, so you have to keep your cool in the middle of the month. Otherwise, you might regret and say some words that you want to take back, but you can't, you know. And people often, when Mercury is retrograde, speak up things that they have been not allowing to speak before, especially because Mercury rules you. That's why many relationship problems come up during Mercury retrograde, because people have been tolerating, and then Mercury comes retrograde, Mercury becomes 3 times stronger than while it's direct, and it's kind of the pressure is too much, and the person just bursts out and makes ultimatums. So, you know, basically Mercury is our ability to speak up, is our ability to say what we need, to communicate it, and we communicate much more powerfully when Mercury is retrograde. Western astrologer will say the opposite. Oh, we can't communicate well. Well, yes, Mercury becomes much stronger when it's retrograde, because it's twice as close to the Earth than when it's direct. And that's why it requires this unleashing of mercurial communication. And if you've been blocking it, it can interrupt and harm a relationship. But otherwise, for people that have more healthy Mercuries that usually speak up their needs, then they really, instead of hurting others by saying it, they actually take a lot of step forward during those Mercury retrogrades on how to even better communicate their needs and what they require to express it, you know. Anyway, and the next big thing is Jupiter is going, Virgos, into your 2nd house, starting from the middle of the month for the next 13-12 months, so to October 2017. That's a huge thing. It happens once every 12 years. And whether it's your ascendant, sun or moon, you'll feel it to some extent. And the 2nd house is your finances and resources, and Jupiter tends to expand whatever it touches. So it will bring new opportunities in regards to expanding your resources, maybe new ideas in regards to how to expand your resources, maybe. But also the 2nd house is income and outflow, inflow and outflow. So it increases also the outflow of income. It also increases. You might have more income that comes, like people usually get bigger salaries, or if they have a business, their clients increase, but also they tend to have even also more expenses around that time. They can spend on a larger, grander scale like Jupiter is, but at least the income necessary for that comes as well. And there might be expenses that you put in regards to Jupiterian things, which is higher education or investing in something financial of some sort, you know, or in some kind of a pre-qualification that happens. But again, when it's initiated by Jupiter, it tends to always work out for the best of the person. And if you want to know specifically how else Jupiter will impact you during its place in Libra, because okay, you're Virgo, but it doesn't mean all Virgos will have financial increase exactly the same way like every other Virgo. But maybe, for example, Jupiter might be trining from your second house Venus in your 11th house. And this means that you can fall in love with someone who is your friend, or someone who friends of you introduces, or kind of, you know, or Jupiter might be trining or transiting in your second house the planet Mars, which, for example, might rule your career or something, and this can totally expand your opportunity for a new job and career as well. So, you know, in this course, it's a 3-hour webinar. You don't need to know any astrology. I'll walk you through all the possible indication of what Jupiter can trigger in your horoscope, and I also write to you personally if you contact me. Once you buy the course, I write to you, you send me the course PayPal note, and